Hello, it's 9 p.m. Welcome to our English news edition, brought to you live by RTD channel. Here are the top stories. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Mr. Ismail Margelle, President of the Republic and head of the government, took place on Tuesday, 25 May 2017, the 13th meeting of the Council of Ministers. That was the headlines, and now to the national news. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Mr. Ismail Margelle, President of the Republic and head of the government, took place on Tuesday, 25 May 2017, the 13th meeting of the Council of Ministers. Have been reviewed and approved the following text. Minister of Equipment and Transport. First question, draft law regulating the importation, marketing, and also the use of aircraft traveling without a person on board. The object of the bill is to set a legal framework governing the condition for the importation, marketing, and use of aircraft without person aboard. These devices, which are of recent technologies, are not yet regulated in our country. That is when it has proved important to establish a suitable legal framework, and it is in this framework that this bill is developed. And this project now obliges that all natural or legal person introducing an aircraft traveling without people to age on the national territory to declare to the custom authorities. A certificate of registration and airworthiness is issued by a joint commission composed of the different ministerial departments concerned. The provision of this project focused in particular on the definition of the aircraft and also the condition to be fulfilled to make flying these devices. The bill specifies restriction of overview, including above a number of sites that will be classified in sensitive area. The adoption of this project will contribute to the strengthening of the security of the infrastructure and also people on the national territory, especially in a regional context unstable. Minister delegate to the Minister of Economy and Finance responsible for trade, the craft tourism, and also the training. Second question, draft law on the creation of the right of Djibouti of tobacco and laying down its function. In the framework of the protection of consumers and the face the illicit sales of cigarettes, the government has initiated a strategy to establish a policy of traceability to cigarettes. And this project provides for the creation of a Djiboutian governance of tobacco responsible to organize in a planned manner the import, export, manufacture, and distribution on the whole of the territory.
The Minister of Deputy Trust question 12 degree assignment of parcel of land to the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training. The 12 degree has for object the assignment of a parcel of land to an area of 1.2 hectare designed for the implementation of a training center for young people. This center is a structure that will allow the vocational training and development the learning as well as the insertion of young people. The creation of this powerful device will contribute to effectively combat youth employment and poverty. The objective is access to employment and decent incomes. Department of Justice and the Penitentiary Affairs responsible for the rights for the question 12 degree for the appointment of magistrates are appointed. Mr. Maki Abdul Kader Omar, Secretary General of the Ministry of Justice, Mr. Eid Ahmed Ibrahim, the Prosecutor of the Republic, Mr. Ali Hamed Mohammed, President of the Administrative Tribunal, Mrs. Nim'a Mahmoud Noor, President of the Court of First Instance, Mr. Aisha Suleiman Abdi, Substitute of the Prosecutor of the Republic, Mr. Ali Musa Okiye, a Magistrate, and Mahdi Ahmed Sheikh, Magistrate at the Court of Authorities. Mr. Salim Ahmed Rirash and Degan Yusuf Ibrahim, Consular acting in the Court of Appeal, and Mr. Faiza Hussein Wais, Director of Communication and New Technologies to the Department of Justice, Mr. Mahdi Umar Yusuf, Technical Advisor to the Ministry of Justice. 50 questions drove the degree for the difference of the magistrates before the disciplinary council of the higher and council of the judiciary are returned before the disciplinary power. Mr. Abu Bakr Yusuf Saleh, Iwal Muhammad Ali, charged at the court of the first instance, and Hassan Muhammad Hassan, substitute of the prosecutor of the Republic, Department of Labor, in charge of the reform and the administration. Sixth question is drive degree for appointment to the delegated department in charge of the decentralization are appointed Mr. Mohammed Issa Faraj, Secretary General of the delegated department responsible for the decentralization, Mr. Issa Fardousa Ahmed Ali, Director of the Prospective and Theoretical Development of the Delegated Department responsible for the decentralization, Mr. Yusuf Abdullah Hassan, Director of the Decentralization of the Department Delegate in charge of the decentralization, Mr. Hussein Hamad, Technical Advisor to the Minister Delegate in charge of the decentralization.
And now to the congratulatory message from the President of the Republic to his counterpart of the Azerbaijani Republic. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margelle, has addressed today, Thursday, a message of congratulation to his counterpart in the Azerbaijan, Mr. Ilham Aliyev, including the country celebrates the anniversary of its National Day. In his message, the President of the Republic wished health, happiness to Mr. Aliyev, as well as more progress, development and prosperity to the people and friend of Azerbaijan. He said, I form the vow that the friendly nation of Azerbaijan, he continued to say in his message, increase the work largely accomplished its development sources of vitality, wrote the President Gelle, who also welcomed the significant strengthening of relations of cooperation and also in terms of trade with this country. Be sure, he said, Mr. Speaker, that you will always find with the government and the people of Djibouti all the necessary assistance to the promotion of relations of friendship and also cooperation between the two countries, has also noted the President of the Republic, reiterating its wish of good faith to all Azerbaijanis.
The European Union to Djibouti has organized a regional seminar from 24 to 26 May 2017 at the Sheraton Hotel to analyze the political and security situation as well as the cooperation with the region of the Horn of Africa. The seminar has seen the participation of the Director General of the International Cooperation and Development of the European Commission, Mr. Stefano Mansevi, Director of the Africa of the Mr. Korean Dezin, and the Director for Africa of the External Service of the European Union, Mr. Korean and Sir Fervekin. Were also present the Ambassador of the Union European as well as the representative of the government of the region, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Sudan and South Sudan, Somalia and Tanzania. The Executive Secretary of IGAD, the Secretary General of CAMESA meeting of high level have started yesterday, Wednesday, 24 May, by a meeting between the representative of the European Union, the Executive Secretary of the IGAD and the representative of the African Union to review the security situation and economic integration in the region. The Minister of Economic and Finance responsible for industry, Mr. Ilyas Musadawali, and the Director General, Mr. Manservisi, have appointed the seminar of Tuesday, 25 May, in the presence of the representative of the European Union, of the representative of the government and the representative of regional organizations to discuss the new policy of cooperation of the Union European in the framework of the objective of sustainable development and the Agenda 2030. Various topics were discussed, in particular the link between peace, security and development, immigration, climate change, the creation of jobs, the kind of policy and good governance. Mr. Manservisi recalled the new financial instrument of cooperation of Union European, such as the Trust Fund for Africa, the European Investment Fund. Finally, he has discussed with the representative of various government the new direction of the programming of the European Union in the file of the cooperation with the region.
Still in the national news, the Minister of the Economy and Finance, Mr. Ilyas Musa Dawale, has in this our intervention at the beginning welcome to the languages, and he thanked for having responded for the European Union. This has the appeal of Djibouti, he said. He also indicated that the European Union and the African country must tight the elbow to work together in any consultation, he said.
The Minister of Development, Investment and International Cooperation, Fadle Abdul Kafi, and the Minister of the Presidency of Djibouti in charge of investment, Ali Gele Abubakar, currently on a visit to Tunisia, examined Monday 22 May during a meeting the opportunities for strengthening the economic partnership and the possibility to create a joint project. The Republic of Djibouti wants to take better advantage of the expertise of Tunisia under earlier in the field of higher education and of health services through the provision of training for students, for Djiboutian students in Tunisia, has indicated new release from the Department of Development. The Minister of Djibouti and the Djiboutian Minister has made a state of provision of its country to put in place a platform to accommodate investors and Tunisian businessmen, including those operating in the areas of transport and the assemblage of cars. It called for a review of the possibility of opening a narrow line between Tunisia and Djibouti to facilitate the movement of businessmen, students, and of the beneficiaries of health services. Fadle Abdul Kafi has made a hand on its side on the willingness of the Tunisian government to strengthen economic partnership with the African countries and encourage investors and businessmen to locate in the countries of the continent in the form of a Southern cooperation.
And now the inauguration of the railway between the Djibouti and Ethiopia. Please listen once more to this video. Djibouti since 1977, or 40 years of existence, has invested heavily in the development of infrastructure. Before the accession of our independence, Djibouti had the railway obsolete put into services in 1917, and also who worked on the section between the Redawa, northeastern Ethiopia, and Djibouti, at the price of a notorious longest and frequent railway. To facilitate the transport of goods and people and accelerate the relation that links the two countries in terms of trade, the two countries decided to build the electric railway linking the capital Ethiopian Addis Ababa at the port of Djibouti. This new line of railway has been officially inaugurated 11 January at the station of Nagad in Djibouti. The President Ismail Omar Guelleh and the Prime Minister of Ethiopian Haile Mariam Desalegn have co-chaired this ceremony. A high-level Chinese delegation as well as several other guests of mark have taken part to this grandiose and also great ceremony, which officially marked the entry into services of the new rail line. The achievement of this great project has needed the bagatelle of 4.2 billion. The track extends over a distance of 752 kilometers, including 82 kilometers on the territory of Djibouti, and has built in 4 years by the company China Railway Corporation. The new railway line, which will facilitate the transportation of people and goods between the two countries, will boost the relation that links the two countries in terms of trade and strengthen the dynamics of regional integration. The Head of State, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has delivered a speech in which he says the railway and the sea have always been the two lactating gatherers of Djibouti. And the new railway will reduce dramatically the time needed to travel from Djibouti to Addis Ababa, which it had now less than 3 days to connect the two economic poles, and it will allow 12 hours. The project within the framework of the construction of a feeder rail network trans-African supported by China, which will be long of approximately 2,000 kilometers by 2020. This major infrastructure project will also allow our two countries to densify network of transportation in order to consolidate its natural role of logistics hub and also platform of exchange and distribution of goods and the people.
That's it for tonight news. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful evening.